So we're going to go through a daily exercise program, 3 exercises with some different modifications that you can do every day. I'm going to talk about some core principles, and if you have a question on those, you can look back at our other Copel method principle videos if you have any questions. So the first exercise is called a bridge. Marissa's going to do 2 different types, an articulated bridge and then a neutral bridge. So the first one, she's going to have her feet hip distance apart, holding this ball between her knees. And just take your time and just articulate your spine up. So I always say don't micromanage the first rep because your spine is cold, and then just articulate back down. What she's trying to do is to get each vertebrae to flex just slightly as she takes each vertebrae up into a full bridge. Now what you don't want to do is, do me a favor, just extend your spine. We don't want to go into spinal extension here. We want to roll up to neutral and then roll back down. One more time. Good. And then hold it at the top. Now make sure when you're in this position, I'm going to make you hold this for a minute. Think of the inner thigh staying plugged into the joint. You can use the ball to assist that. Also make sure the 4 corners of your feet are all down. Now, from this position, Mariska, hinge straight down back to neutral spine. Good. So as you can see, there was a little bit of flexion. That was a little hybrid. See if you can keep the spine neutral as you lift straight up. That was much better. And then take a big exhale and lower the spine down in one fell swoop. Much better. Do that one more time. Good, and hold it up here. So we're going to add a modification to make this exercise a little bit more challenging. I want you to think of grounding your left foot down and lift your right leg up to tabletop. And then back down. Beautiful. Switch legs. Ground down through the right foot and lift the left. Good. Something you can do to help here is to put both hands on your hip points. What's going to happen is when she lifts the right leg, the pelvis is going to want to drop, so she's going to make sure it stays level and back down. Good. Other side. Now to really think about this one is you're lifting from your psoas, that's your major hip flexor, right through here. Good, to lift up and back down. One more time on the other side. Good. Hold it. When you're just starting with this exercise, it's also probably a good idea maybe just to do 1 rep and just to hold it. Like an isometric hold. This is easy, right? Good, lower back down. And then articulate your bridge all the way home. Beautiful. Another little modification we're going to do here is Mariska's going to go back up to that bridge. So do a neutral bridge, not moving the spine. Good. Now lower halfway down. Now what we're going to do here is a pelvic clock. It might be a little hard to see on the video, but what she's going to do is anteriorly tilt her pelvis and make her belly button 12 o'clock. So stay there. Good. And then we're going to go to the right hip point for 3, down to 6 pubic bone, 9, and back. So Mariska's swiveling her pelvis around. Now I'm going to put my hands on her upper spine to make sure she's not cheating and just moving the pelvis. It is deceivingly very difficult. Good. Now go the opposite direction. One more this way. And then lower the butt down. Excellent. Moving on to exercise 2. Marissa's going to flip over into quadruped position. So that's on all 4s. Now, the real thing to keep in mind here, scapular stability is really important. So make sure you revisit the other video on neutral scapular position. So what I'm going to have Mariska do is actually downwardly rotate her scapulas a little bit to find neutral. Her humeral heads are in the joint. And now I'm going to ask her to take a few inhales and exhales to think about bringing your ribs up to your scapulas, which is, again, a lot harder than it looks. Now I'm going to check and make sure she's in neutral spine, so she needs a little bit of an arch in her lower back. Perfect. So from this position, Mariska, I want you to extend your left leg and right arm in opposite directions. Hold it here. So Mariska, lift a little higher to show what can happen. As she's going right into her lower back, I'm going to have her drop her pelvis, bring her leg in a little bit more, and hold it right there. See how her spine's more neutral? And then in this position, her scapula should upwardly rotate. There we go. And then lower back down, downward rotation of scapula. So we'll talk you through it. So go super slow like it's easy. She's going to extend her right leg out, and then left arm, scapula is going to upwardly rotate to allow that movement. She's going to keep that lower back stable and ribs up to the scapula. Again, I don't know if you can see in the video, but she's shaking because she's doing it right. If it feels too easy, that means you're doing it wrong. Lower back down. Beautiful. Sit back on your heels for a second. So that's the first step. The second step is going to be a full plank position. Okay? Now again, this is actually a very challenging exercise. So Mariska's going to come up to a full push-up position. And let's first check in on those scapulas. Again, she needs a little downward rotation. So what I mean is bringing the bottoms of the scapulas a little bit closer. Beautiful. Take an inhale to bring the ribs up. Now, first just lift the right leg off the ground. Give me a point flex in the foot and lower down. And then left leg, keeping that lumbar supported, point flex and down. Now slowly extend that right leg and left arm, upward rotation of scapula. That's okay. So again, the weight will shift a little bit and you're going to do as much as you can. Tap your right shoulder with your hand. Good, and then back down. So now, Mariska, keep the feet on the ground and try to tap your right shoulder and back and forth. Good. 4 more. And 3. And 2. Last one. And relax down. Good. Again, the isometric hold works or opposite tapping. The last version of this, she's going to come up to a plank one more time. Now, all I want from her is just a little bit of extension in that right leg. Now, use this right leg as a lever, crossing it behind and getting the pelvis to rotate towards me. And back down. Left side, lift the leg and rotate the pelvis and back down. Now, Mariska, do less. Lift the right leg and just try to move the pelvis. That was better. And back down. Lift the ribs a little higher. Good. And back down. Beautiful. Sit back on those heels. All right. You ready for the last exercise? All right. So let's go into a side plank facing the windows over there on your right arm. But do the side plank on your knees.
Elbow or arm?
Elbow, please. So if you notice, we've added a lot of modifications. You can do 3 reps of each or just 1, okay? Now, again, Mariska's going to get that neutral scapular position, and please feel free to review the opposite video. Bring your hand to your shoulder. I always call it a chicken wing. So what I'm looking for is thoracic rotation here. So Mariska, just rotate the spine. Don't think about it. And back up. So when she did that, she actually initiated that from low in her lumbar. This time, I'm going to manhandle her a little bit. I want you to think of bringing your right nipple to your right armpit and get the thoracic spine to rotate and back up. Bury that right nipple into the right armpit and back up a little less from the head. Last one, and hold it. Now give me a little more flexion back here. Beautiful. And just breathe there. Good. Coming all the way back and rest the pelvis down. Good. So that's the first modification. I always say with thoracic rotation, were you feeling shakes?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. You should always feel a little bit of shakiness because the thoracic spine gets locked up. If you're not, try to do a little bit of less movement. So we're going to come up and do that again.
Okay.
The only difference is she's going to straighten her top leg and lift it. Now, keeping the scapula stable, I'm going to assist her. Think about rotating towards the armpit. Good. And back up. Is that a little more shaky?
Yeah.
And again. Nice. One more time, keeping that pelvis square. And back down. Bend the knee and rest. Now, we have one more modification just to really torture Mariska. She's going to come into a full side plank. Go still on the forearm. Yep, beautiful. Can you stack the feet or is that uncomfortable? I find the foot stack is better when you're wearing shoes, but so you can scissor the legs if need be. Give yourself a chicken wing. Good. Now, get the hips in line with the pelvis. That's half the battle. This is work here. Now, start that thoracic rotation again and just hold it there. And she's just going to breathe here with that isometric. If she wants, she can take it into full rotation. So keep those hips up. That's okay. Take it into full rotation. Go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it. And then all the way back up and rest. Good. So, we're not going to show you the other side.
Thank you.
Yeah. So all those 3 exercises can be done daily. We started with the bridge, then we flipped over into quadruped for the bird dog, and then we finished with a side plank. So the one thing is make sure you add rotation into your daily workout. Thanks. Thank you, Mariska.